Hello. I really hope you enjoyed that intro. I literally made it like 5 minutes ago, but it didn't take me that long to make. I really like it because it's short, concise, and it doesn't take away from the experience. It's not too long, is what I'm trying to say. Yeah, welcome to the very first episode of Jason Talks to Himself. That is the podcast name that I decided to name this. And to be honest, I did not think that I would be making a podcast. I uploaded a couple of videos today that were not necessarily like the typical format. It was just literally just talking head of me yapping. And I realized, can't I make this into a podcast? So this is how this sort of series started. And in this podcast, I'll pretty much just talk about anything and everything. Today, we're going to be talking about why I started this podcast. There are a couple of different reasons. I wanted a space where I could just speak freely about anything and everything that I want. No pressure, no edits, just thoughts, me talking to you like you're my best friend, because you are, right? That's why you're here. That's why you're you're listening. But the reason why I'm speaking a little bit more softly is because it's literally 1 a.m. So yeah, I don't know where this is coming from. I should be going to bed, but I'm here, and you're up with me at 1 a.m, and we're just talking about why I started this podcast. So yeah, I have been doing this sort of thing for a while now, and I would call them my video journals. Mostly, they're recorded in the car. Whenever I'm going to and from places, I like to record myself instead of listening to music at times, because I think it is a great way for me to practice speaking. It is something of mine, like a goal of mine that I've been wanting to accomplish for the longest time. And I know that this goal isn't going to be achieved overnight, and it might not even take a few years. It might take longer than that, because this is a skill that you continuously improve upon. And if, like, I'm not someone who's gifted to the point where they can just talk naturally. I like it has taken me many years to get up to this point of speaking, and I still don't consider myself a great speaker. I am far from it. I'm still towards the beginner stages, because I can't think off the top of my head as well as other people do and continue a conversation. So that is another reason why I started this podcast, is because I wanted to just improve upon my speaking skills. That's what this whole YouTube channel has kind of transformed into. And it went from like tech to a subject where I'm the niche, essentially, where I'm doing anything that I want. And it's kind of hurting my engagement. It's kind of hurting me getting like deals with brands or whatever, but that's not something that I want to be doing long term, like just tech. I want to be able to do something that I want to do that's sustainable. And I know that it seems very delusional, it seems very selfish, but I think it'll work out. I know that right now I'm not the most entertaining person to listen to, so starting now, I should be talking about things that you are interested in. So maybe, hopefully, you're interested in why I'm starting this podcast, but I'm pretty sure there are a bunch of people out there that start podcasts and they're not very successful, but it's like a building block, right? They take that step, and that step helps them to achieve the goals that they want to achieve in the future. It's something that I feel like every successful entrepreneur does at one point in their journey, just talking about random subjects or a specific subject that they're interested in, that other people are interested in, and they can give value off of that. But yeah, I don't think I'm going to be having guests on this podcast. This will be a solo podcast. Who knows, maybe that'll change in the future. For now, I mean, the podcast is called Jason Talks to Himself, right? I'm not trying to be an expert at one particular thing, and I'm not trying to talk about one thing in particular. I think every single podcast that comes out is going to be very different, very random, but like I hope that I can provide some sort of value to you. And I know that it's not necessary, right, for me to give you value in terms of like something that you can take away. If this video is entertaining you, if it is giving you something to listen to while you're driving, while you're doing chores or whatever, then I think that's enough value in and of itself, right? I don't have to be like telling you something that you should do that'll apply to your life, that will make your quality of living better. So sometimes I have to get that out of my head and just keep creating, even though no one is watching. I'm going to move this out of the way because I can't really see how long I've been recording for. This podcast isn't going to be perfect. It's not going to be anywhere near that. As you can tell, I'm stuttering, and like I watch people's podcasts from time to time, even their older podcasts. They're like, oh, they're able to just say whatever comes to their mind off the top of their head really quickly and in a way where it seems very smooth and effortless, and they're still able to get their point across. But for me personally, I still have trouble doing that. Like, to be honest, I don't really have a sort of theme for this podcast. I'm just yapping on and on. I guess hopefully this inspires you to start your own podcast or do whatever you want to do, because I am not ready. I don't think I'm ready to start this podcast because apparently I can't speak. I don't know what I'm talking about. But here I am, decided that a YouTube exclusive podcast is the way to go in this like very spur of the moment. I did not take the time to think about what the outcome will be. I just decided to act upon it because if I think about it, I will develop analysis paralysis and I will not do it. I'll be like, okay, I'll do the podcast tomorrow, and then tomorrow never comes, right? So that's one thing that you could take away, is just to not overthink things and make sure that you act accordingly. I don't know, there are different times, or there are times where I get this like really cool idea or something that I can talk about on a YouTube channel, and then poof, it randomly just disappears. I'm trying to mitigate that by typing out whatever my idea is in my notes app or a physical journal if I have one. I do have one right here. This is my favorite notebook so far. This is the Lockbee mini field journal, and what I like about it is that it holds the field note size journals, which allows you to, hold multiple, and you can replace them. So once these get filled up, you can replace them and put new ones in, and the cover is just with you wherever you go. It holds a pen, it holds a couple of cards, and then has some slots for other stuff like maybe extra papers, documents, receipts, and even like a passport or something. Yeah, really, really awesome. I use this for daily note taking, sometimes journaling, and it holds some of my ideas. Again, I still like to store my ideas digitally for the most part, but I try to steer towards the physical medium whenever possible. The pen that I have is the Pilot G2. I'm just going to go ramble on about anything again. It's just me talking to myself. So that's the only expectation here. There's no expectation for anything else. The Pilot G2. Awesome pen. This is the Edge version, which I don't really know what the difference is other than this part of the body is solid and has this sort of like carbon fiber texture instead of it being like a clear body so that you can see the level of the ink. But I have chosen this pen because I love the G2 refills and it is pretty inexpensive. I love my fountain pens. I love my expensive everyday carry pens, but I choose not to invest in them anymore because the G2 does whatever I need it to do in terms of writing. And for more expensive pens, I tend to gravitate towards those that have the G2 refill anyways, or that is able to hold a G2 refill. So like it's the same writing experience, it's just in a more expensive titanium body. For fountain pens, I would love to carry fountain pens, but when I'm traveling, it's not something that I want to worry about. So I don't want to worry about having to refill ink or having the ink spill or explode during a flight because of the change in air pressure. I personally haven't had that happen to me, but like I think it could happen, so that's why I don't really carry a fountain pen. If you do run out of ink, then you're out of a pen. So G2 refills are pretty easy to get. Yeah, they last for quite a while. This one I have is a 0.35 millimeter. It's like the extra fine one, or the ultra fine one, sorry. It's like 0.3 something millimeters, and it's super fine, and it's perfect for this journal because I write small and I can write more. Yeah, that is what I have for taking notes. I don't know where I was going with this, to be honest. I think I've already talked about what I want this sort of podcast to be, why I started this podcast. I don't know. I think that people overthink things, and I think it's okay, or I think it's smart rather, to have a niche, but not everyone needs to have a niche. I want to be one of those exceptions to where I can talk about whatever I want, whenever I want, and people will still listen. Sometimes the niche isn't a particular subject. The niche is you being real, you being authentic, you being yourself. And I'm not displaying the most entertaining side of me whenever I film these sorts of podcasts or videos. Maybe I gravitate towards like the calmer, chiller version, but I don't know. I've shown this side of me on YouTube for the longest time, and it's been pretty difficult to gain an audience. I've been gaining an audience steadily, but it's not at the growth that I am not necessarily expecting, but I sort of wanted when it comes to posting this consistently on YouTube. I've been posting every single day. If you are a constant watcher of mine, viewer of mine, then I appreciate you, but you're probably tired of me like saying the same things over and over again, with me wanting to talk about anything and everything that I want, with me posting every single day on YouTube for the year of 2025, me uploading over 150 pieces of content, or long form videos on YouTube rather, just in this year alone. It probably gets tiring, and I apologize, but again, new people see me, new people are just finding out about me. And it's just like this thing to where I think about this a lot. Like photography and videography, you may think that like, oh, everyone knows this is common knowledge, but no, there are people still getting into the game, people learning about how a camera works, what the 3 different settings are to change on a camera in order to change the exposure, like your aperture, your shutter speed, or your ISO, stuff like that. People think, or at least for me, I think that like at this point it's common knowledge, but no, there are a lot of people out there that don't know a particular subject. For example, there are a whole lot of software engineers and coders, but not everyone knows that. Maybe someone wants to just randomly get started with coding, and maybe that's a newfound passion of theirs. So yeah, that where I was going with this is, I apologize if you're tired of hearing that, because there are a whole bunch of people out there that don't really know who I am yet. Soon enough they'll know, I think. Another reason why I would like to create this podcast is because I wanted something that's super, not necessarily low effort, but like low pressure to create. Because if I create a podcast talking about anything that I want, it's just me talking to myself, essentially, me being authentic, me talking about things that I'm interested about, then that's fine, right? There's no expectation of me like, okay, I have to perform this way, I have to do this sort of thing because it's this or something like that. It's just, okay, it's your podcast. The purpose is you becoming a better speaker, you talking about things that you're interested in, and there's no expectations. Like, you're learning, so you can make mistakes. You should make mistakes because that means you're improving, and then you can watch it back and see what you need to improve on. But I don't know. There's still like some self-doubt in my head that this podcast is going to fail or not take off, and I shouldn't even be worried about that. Another like self-doubt or worry that I have is like, is this podcast even exciting enough for people to listen to? I really, really wonder. This is probably the longest moment of silence in this video. And that's the thing too. Like, I still have to learn when to leave in silences and when to cut them out. For the longest time, I've been like, okay, I want to make slower paced videos so that I don't attract people who are used to the retention editing. But then at the same time, I'm always cutting my videos to where like there's no gaps or spaces in between my talking. So there's no silent spaces in between. It's just me talking after like cut after cut after cut. And it's not like necessarily me teaching my audience to expect that, but I'm attracting that sort of audience, if that makes sense. So if I start posting these videos now, I might not have the audience that will watch me, but that's fine, right? I'm sure that if I keep posting, I will find people who are willing to watch my videos, and they'll watch me for who I am, essentially. I guess this is sort of like a public journal, if you will. I don't know if I'm going to be uploading every single day for like a podcast. Maybe for the next few days I will, because I am severely behind on my YouTube videos. The next month or so should be pretty easy for me to pump out content. So we'll see. I could probably get one podcast out every day and then like an additional YouTube video. For the past few days now, I've been putting out at least 2 YouTube videos per day because there was a point last month. Was it last month? Kind of. Like the end of last month and then the beginning of this month where I did not post for like almost 2 weeks straight. So I am kind of behind, but I'm catching up slowly but surely. I think that's gonna be it. We'll see how this goes. I do want to aim for the content or for the podcast to be longer, but for now, I think this is all right. Hopefully, as time goes on, I will have to edit the cuts less so that I can save a lot more time. I don't bore you with topics that aren't really relevant or necessary to talk about. Yeah, if you made it this far, thank you so much. I really appreciate it. Like, seriously. I don't know where this whole podcast thing is going yet, but I'm excited to keep it up, and I'm excited to just talk more. If this isn't something that will make me successful, then, it's just a stepping stone. And as long as I'm working towards a goal that I want to achieve, then that's more than good enough. Anyways, I should probably stop talking about that. I should be like, I don't need this podcast to function. I am doing this for fun, which I really am. So thanks for listening. I'll see you tomorrow.